This is a short story about Genestealers and Squats by Byran Ansell and Nigel Stillman.
Lord Argyr, there's something down there. A movement in the shadows.
Argyr brought the torch beam across to where Fordol was pointing. It lit up the stonework, throwing dark, oppressive shadows where the rock had been roughly carved into human shapes.
I saw something too, to the left.
Gordor's voice was hushed.
About 12 yards away.
It was gone before I got a good...
By the ancestors, that was fast. I barely saw it.
The tunnel was lit up by the sudden, intermittent bursts of Fordol's bolter as he spotted something else. Each flash was followed by a crack as the shell detonated, blowing chunks of rock out of the wall as he sought to hit one of the rapidly moving targets. Fordol's gunfire illuminated more of the creatures, and the rest of the Heathguard found their targets. Within seconds, the tunnel was a killing ground. The Genestealers fell back under the onslaught, allowing the Squats to push forward to where the tunnel passed beneath a low archway. The Heathguard emerged into a vast chamber. Huge twisted columns between the roof and floor made it impossible to count the other entrances. Losing their targets amongst the pillars, they stopped firing. Following the Heathguard into the acrid gloom, Torcus studied the fallen creatures. Brushing his cloak to one side, he extended his hand, prodding a lifeless claw. Although many centuries old, he hadn't seen anything quite like these creatures. It had been many years since Torcus had come across anything that was new to him, and his curiosity was reawakened. He was distracted by the sudden flash of the Heathguard's bolters as they started firing again. While he was occupied, they had surrounded him, backs towards him, protecting their living ancestor from the Genestealers that spewed out of every entrance. Among the flickering explosions, Torcus saw the Heathguard go down. One by one they were torn apart by wave after wave of the creatures. The Genestealers came again and again until all of the warriors lay dead. Torcus admired the Stealers' discipline. He had underestimated them. They circled him slowly, as if reluctant to attack, as if waiting for something. He stood for a long time. Minutes, hours. Torcus wasn't sure. Then slowly they backed off as something moved to his side, easing through the Genestealers' ranks. They moved respectfully away, heads bowed, as the huge Genestealer pushed its way to the front. Their eyes met. The Patriarch came to a halt. Its brood watching expectantly. Lowering its shoulders slightly, it paused, staring deep into the Squat's wrinkled face. The muscles around its jaws twitched, a thin stream of saliva oozing from the side of its mouth. Torcus stared back, waiting for the huge creature to strike, expecting the inevitable burst of aggression. When it didn't come, he lowered his weapons, slowly understanding. He knew this creature was also the father of many sons. Someone, something, which had seen its kin live and die. It had lived through the centuries. It knew what the endless passage of the years was like. This thing, it was aware. The Genestealer's head cocked to one side as it studied the small, wrinkled form in front of it. It watched as the las pistol lowered, the barrel dropping forward as the Squat's grip weakened involuntarily. Torcus stared deep into the Patriarch's eyes. His mind started to swim. His eyes strained to focus on its head as it inched forward, cord-like muscles pulling back to reveal the yellowed fangs. He felt its warm, sweet breath on his face, but couldn't draw away from the deep yellow eyes. Torcus fought to prevent himself lunging forward and embracing the creature, sense overriding the awful desire to surrender. The Patriarch leaned forward, pushing its tongue out towards the Squat's face. Torcus's muscles tensed as he tried to turn his head. He shook as he tried to tear his gaze away. Then, success! A momentary distraction caused the Patriarch to turn. Torcus's neck jarred as his head whipped away, breaking the creature's stare. For a single sweet moment, Torcus knew he had beaten it. The Stealer screamed and swung its arm around, tearing the squat's skull apart as if it were an eggshell. It turned to the brood. The savage squat at its feet. They knew what it meant. The nest had been found. It was time to move on again.